Hello, Kimberly Stratman here. We're going to talk about something holiday related that isn't actually very festive, though not really as fun as a lot of the other stuff that appears to be going on around us. But first of all, let's get the elephant in the room brought out so we can see it. And that is, are you a failure or a loser because you're alone? Or are you alone because you're a failure and a loser? We're not saying any of that right now. So let's agree on the statement that being alone right now is more of a statement of your environment, not of your value and not of your worth. The fact that you recognize that you're alone and that you don't want to be alone is important. Now, if you want to be alone, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to tell you that you can't be alone. I am going to help people, help you, help other first responders who have recognized that they don't want their life to be exactly as it is right now. They recognize that they're alone or lonely, and they want to make some changes. So a couple ways that we're going to do this. We're going to look at some actionable steps that can be long-term, things that you can do that you recognize this year that you can do long-term that can make next year a little different. And then we're going to look at some things that you can do immediately that will make this holiday season better for you or more of what you want it to be. So let's look at the big elephant in the room. And that is, you might be alone because you're an ass, because you're difficult, because you haven't nurtured your relationships, because you've been unkind, because you ignore people's needs. It's possible. Possible. Doesn't have to stay that way. You can make changes and you can change that. You can absolutely do that. But honestly, most likely what's happened is life has gotten away from you. You've had some deaths in the family, maybe a divorce. You haven't kept up with your relationships. Your coworkers have moved away. None of this is intentional. It just happens. It can also be fixed. Everything can be fixed. If not fixed exactly how you want it, it can be improved. So let's go with that. Let's go with improved. It can be improved. So let's acknowledge something else also, and that is some of the things that we have had as first responders have helped get us to where we're at. And if we're not intentional, it's going to continue. Shift work, working holidays, the stress that we've been under, the stuff that we've had to deal with on holidays. I mean, my goodness, some of the stuff on the holidays, the family fight, not our own, but at work, the family fights, the violence, the car wrecks, just all that stuff out there just can really make holidays rough. There's a lot of post-traumatic symptoms that we are dealing with. So we need to acknowledge the fact that we're dealing with that also. So if we've had bad behavior and if life has just smacked us upside the head and we're dealing with a career of crap that we still have to deal with now, even after we've retired, we can all use a little bit of help, right? We could all use a little bit of help. So let's look at some actionable steps that you can take to improve things long-term. So these are things that you recognize now, like, hey, maybe this isn't going the way I want it to go. What can I do to make my life different so that the next holiday won't be the same? So none of this is going to be a surprise to you. But here's my little list I have going for long-term things. Find local organization or groups to join. Get active in church or other similar groups. Volunteer work. Now, volunteer work doesn't have to be touchy-feely. Volunteer work can be done very manual labor, and it can also be intellectual. So there's a lot of things you can do that are volunteer work that are not all touchy-feely. Get a part-time job. Lots of benefits to a part-time job. It gets you out of the house. It earns you some income. You meet new people, learn new things. Can be very beneficial. Can really make some changes for you. Reach out to previous friends and coworkers. Doesn't matter if you haven't heard from them in a long time or they haven't heard from you. Reach out to them anyway. This is a funny one. Talk to your neighbors. They're right there. Talk to your neighbors. Also, walk, ride your bike, exercise outside of your house or in groups, organized or not. Just be outside. Be where people could see you. Walk your dog outside. Be where people can see you. Make eye contact. Don't eyeball them like they're ready to rob you, but say hi to them. Be kind. And then there's online groups. Online groups kind of get a bad rap sometimes because since you do it from your own home, they say it's not really relationships. It might be exactly what you need. You can meet some new people, learn something, grow a little bit. Book clubs are a very good example of that. A lot of women in my town are involved in bunco groups. Now those are in person. They're during the day, they're at night. You can talk as much as you want. You don't have to talk a whole lot, but you are with other people. And so you're expanding your social circle. So again, I want to stress that we are potentially dealing with a lot of trauma, post-traumatic symptoms and stuff like that. Be very kind to yourself. No matter what you're doing, be very, very kind to yourself. Please be kind to yourself. Now let's look at things that you can do that can help you for this holiday season, right now. Not July, not next December, but right now. What can make today, tomorrow, this next couple of days, this next couple of weeks better for you? First of all, acknowledge your feelings. There's no judgment. Don't be mad at yourself for what you're thinking. Don't be mad at yourself for why you're where you're at, for what feelings you have going through you. Just acknowledge them, the good and the bad, both. Allow both the feelings to happen. Don't tell yourself stories about it. Don't make excuses for it. Just feel your feelings and move on. They could be happy, they could be sad. And get this, you don't have to celebrate this holiday. It's up to you. It's totally up to you. You don't have to be festive. You don't have to be happy. Be you. Be yourself. As long as you feel that you're healthy, and as long as you feel that you're safe, and as long as you feel you're okay, and as long as you aren't looking for change, carry on, cowboy. The second thing that you can do, which is simple and it's free and it boosts your mood, is practice gratitude. That can be something as simple as, glad I woke up this morning, or glad I got a couple hours of sleep last night, or glad my pipes didn't freeze. I mean, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be major. It can just be any thought at all. And here's one that might surprise you. You might say, I really don't feel good right now. I'm not happy. I don't like how my life is going. I am grateful that I recognize that. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to make change. Yes, that is gratitude also. Some people get great benefit from writing down what they're grateful for, writing it down on a journal, piece of paper. Heck, the back of a napkin is fine also. Anything at all that works for you. Just thinking it gets chemicals going through your body that benefits your body, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Also do something that might be starting a tradition. Do something this year that you're like, I'm really enjoying this. I want to do this every year from here on out. Start your own tradition. Prioritize self-care. Now, some people think that this is having a mask or conditioning their hair or soaking in the tub or using a sauna. Those are all wonderful things, fabulous things. I love all those. There's other types of self-care. Reading a book. Read whatever book you want to read. It can be nonfiction. It can be fiction. It can be schmutty and romantic. It could be history. It could be, Texas history, whatever it is, self-help, whatever you want it to be. Don't let someone tell you what you have to read. Read what you want to read. Just indulge yourself. Find a good book and read it. Find a series and read it. Speaking of a series, that's something that you can do also. You hear about binge watching TV and you hear some negative things about it. That's what you want to do. Do it. Do it. Enjoy it. Do it. Take pleasure in figuring out what you're going to watch and watching it. This is your holidays. You can do your holidays the way you want to do your holidays. It's all about you. The last thing that I wanted to mention here is connecting. It's very important to connect. Now, again, advertisers will tell you that you're around a table and passing food and you're dressed beautifully and your dog that's been lost comes home and you give diamonds and all the rest of that stuff on the holidays. To connect, have to be in person with lots of food, lots of drink, lots of money, new cars, all that stuff. Decorated trees. This is my mom's tree behind me right now. I don't even have a tree set up at home yet. I'm at my parents' house. This is my parents' tree. It's all about how you want to do it. You can connect virtually on Zoom. You can connect so many ways right now. You don't have to be in person. Call somebody, text somebody, a handwritten note. Anyway, you can connect in so many different ways right now. And that's not just for your benefit, it's for somebody else's benefit also. Think about that. While you're helping yourself, you're helping somebody else. Bottom line is, if you want to be alone for the holidays and you're okay with that, then be okay with it. If you don't want to be alone for the holidays, if you feel like something's missing, do something about it. Do something about it now for this year, and do something in your life that will change it in the future. It's up to you. Nobody can do this for you. I would love to help you, and I will help you, but ultimately you have to do it yourself. So I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, and everything else, but I mostly want to say is be you, be yourself. Do whatever it takes to deal with the trauma, the drama, the pain, whatever got you where you're at, to where you're alone these holidays, or lonely these holidays, because you can be around people and still feel lonely. Make some changes. Make some immediate changes and make some long-term changes. You are definitely worth it. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.